The secret 15-minute a day routine to transform your social media for lead gen.
Welcome to the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast.
We're your host, David and Al Denning.
What happens when a millennial couple dives headfirst into the insurance world, scales $1 million remote business, and decides to share the journey with the world?
You get the Modern Insurance Agent.
Here, we reveal the messy, magical, and sometimes hilarious realities of building a business and a life you love.
From traveling the globe to building remote teams. Yes, even working remotely on top of a mountain in the Philippines. We're sharing insights, strategies, and plenty of laughs to help agents and entrepreneurs succeed.
Because, let's face it, success isn't just about hitting numbers.
It's about designing a life that works for you.
So let's dive in and build something extraordinary together.
Welcome to Modern Insurance Agent Podcast. El, what if 15 minutes a day could lead to more prospects, more referrals, more referral partners, and something you're actually in control of?
Well, David, good news for you and everybody listening today, because today we're going to show you how you can take a 15-minute routine to spark direct messages, referrals, and referral partner intros fast. But before we dive into all of that, we want to make sure you know where you can go to find all of the show notes, and we put together marketing goodies for you. Like, I'm pretty sure I've got a referral partner mini guide available to download there, as well as a lead compliance checklist for 2025, things like that. When you head on over to jumpstartgonow.com/podcast. Again, that's jumpstartgonow.com/podcast. Head on over, sign up. You'll get all the show notes and all of the marketing resources for free.
For freezies?
For freezies.
For freezies. Love it, guys. So go grab the resources. We put them together for you guys. You guys can leverage, use them, and ask us questions about them as well. So let's talk today. We got the 15 minutes a day that they can actively put into bringing results through social. But El, before we hop into that, what do most people think about social? Right? This is something like I post every so often on, and eventually people maybe see me and reach out to me. It's just a passive thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could use social media that way. It's better than not using social media at all. But one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when it comes to social media, and honestly, it's a really detrimental mistake too, because they start on social media and they don't get results. And then they're like, oh my gosh, social media doesn't work for me. It's a big waste of time. But the reality is that they're just missing this 15-minute a day routine that could totally transform their results from social. And what most people do, especially when they think about social media marketing, they're thinking content. I got to create all of this content. I need to be putting out videos. I need to get scripts done. I got to get all the equipment, and it feels super overwhelming when you get started that way. And if you think that you have to have not only all of this equipment and tech and video editing capabilities, but that you have to be putting out all of this content in order to be visible. But today we're going to dive into what I call the behind the scenes activities that actually are going to drive the results from social media. So yes, you do need to be putting out content. You need to be visible. Having like an optimized profile that we've talked about in previous trainings and podcasts. All of that is super important. But you don't necessarily need to be putting out as much content as you think that you do when you start adding these activities into your social media strategy. Again, keyword there, activity, it's active versus posting content, which is very passive.
So to reiterate a little bit, it's not who puts out the most content wins, right? Now, it's more than zero content. So if you're doing zero content, it's more than that. That's definitely required, but it's not where I've got to be doing 5, 10, 20 posts a day. Nothing like that, guys. So it's not a matter of getting the most amount of content out, because if I not also working on audience, other things, like, then I'm doing the most amount of work for least amount of rewards and effort, right? Kind of like dialing leads, right? Like if I'm putting my time only into dialing and trying to get people on and sell them and move on to the next one, then I'm losing stuff out the back door off my client, like retention and chargebacks and referrals that I'm missing out on and stuff. So, that's the same thing. If I'm only looking at putting content out, then I'm not going to reap all the rewards. I'm going to speed all this work on content, which most agents, not every agent, most agent isn't, want to be the next Kim Kardashian. And it's like, I love making, content all day long, every day, right? It's like, I want to use this for my business. And that's what we're talking about. How to keep it simple, easy, but also be in charge of the results that you bring in. So just like if I ask someone, hey, if you had a bunch of leads and never reached out, never called them or you did anything, just wait for them to call you, how many would you get calling you in sales would you make? The answer is 0 to maybe if I got lucky. But in reality, we know that we have to reach out. We have to take action. We have to be in control. We make the conversations, connections happen as much as we can by doing the activity, right? So it's the same thing with social. There's actions I can take. So that's the myth that we want to bust off the bat, that social is passive. It's just about making content. And over time, people will just see and come to you. Yes, that is a portion of it, but it's not the only portion. So we want to talk to all these people. Oh, it takes a long time. It has to be slow. It's something I just do consistently. And, maybe at some point it'll reward me. Nah, we're not. We're talking about how to fast, quick, and the things I can do that put in control. Because you guys like control, right? Like I like when I can control what's coming in, make sure it's mine, that I can make the activity happen to bring in my results, right? So that's a key part of running a business too, is having control of your marketing.
Absolutely. So let's talk about one of the first key areas here, and that's going to be growing your audience. Again, going back to content, I think that there is a bit of a misconception that if you just put out content that's good enough, you're just going to accumulate followers. And of course, you can have pieces of content that are performing well, even pieces of content that potentially go viral. I'm laughing a little bit because I'm just thinking about some of the groups that I'm in, that people actually put out really great content that has tens of thousands of views or sometimes millions of views, but they're not actually really gaining that many followers from views. So content alone is not it. What you can actually do in addition to content strategy, is making sure that you're actively growing your audience. And before we talk about the step on how to do that, David, what are the types of people that people should even be looking to connect with on social media? Like, I could sell to anybody. So shouldn't I just be, growing my audience with anybody if they can fog up a mirror? Is that good enough there? Or do I need to be a little bit strategic about this?
So I'm going to call BS on anybody who says they can sell anyone, right? Because that's not true, right? In reality, we need them within a certain age range. We need them to be in the US usually, or at least have an ITIN or ever to be able to write business for them. Sometimes it has to be during a certain period of year, open enrollment, annual enrollment, unless a special qualified period. So there's certain things that it's not anybody who can fog a mirror, right? So let's be honest. Like we all have targets that fit within what we can write. And we also have those that are like, oh, I know I convert these people. I love working with these people. These people I like get along with so well. But the difference is, and why we're going to talk about building your audience here, is I actually get control over that and can actually like specifically have the audience I want coming to me that is fits and that I work best with, or one is my audience versus leads. I, kind of pick what type of lead, like general life or final expense or home insurance or stuff like that. But I don't get much control over who filled that out. Right. So with that said, the types of people I want to build when I get that choice, like with social, is I want to build my target market, right? Which is kind of what I just described. I want to know who my target is first, which if you don't know, that's the first step. And we've done many trainings on that. But I want to build my target market. And then I want to build my people of influence. So strategic referral partners, businesses that deal with my target market that can send a bunch of these over to me. I love those relationships. In fact, I think that's the most highly leveraged relationships you can build. And centers of influence falls in along with that too. People with influence, connection, power, as well. All that kind of rolls into that second one. And then the third one is my raving fans, my clients, people who know me, that love shouting me out, that can speak to me, my personality, helping people, and prospects that, just wasn't the right timing, but had a really great conversation and stuff like that. I want the raving fans because they help give social proof. They helped, hey, I work with David and Elle, they're amazing, you should too, like they're great and fantastic. Those are the ones that I really want to be building my audience of, not someone across the world that I can't really help, that doesn't even know me. I want to choose who I'm actually building the audience with, because eventually, like Facebook, I only get so many anyway, so you want to make sure they're the right ones, right? So with that, I want to build my audience. Those are kind of the areas. And think about this: if you come from buying leads, right? Like, building your audience is like getting more leads, right? So like, or like, oh, I only have so many leads to work. Well, what I need more leads, right? So building my audience is kind of almost similar to getting more leads and opportunities. I just get to choose who those are and, have a better chance of getting those conversations and helping them. So with that, Elle, what should they be doing each day to help with building their audience?
Yeah, so you can actually go to your audience, which is so cool that we have the power to do this with social media. David and I primarily focus on organic Facebook strategies. So in the context of Facebook, this looks like sending friend request. Okay. We talk a lot about these strategies work best from a personal profile. And part of that is that you can send friend requests. So if you're not already in a couple of Facebook groups of your ideal client, definitely make sure that you get in groups, because this is one of the fastest and easiest ways to start connecting with your target market. And what do? You start sending friend requests. Now, another way that you could do this would be connecting with influencers. So people that have a following already on social media. You can start looking at who's following them. Think about, if your target market is people that maybe they, are financially savvy families, or they really care about budgeting. I would be following like influencers that are moms that share a lot about like budget-friendly recipes. Like I would find that influencer on social media, start looking to see who's following her, and I would start sending them friend requests to connect with them. But I love Facebook groups because they're more community-based. They're a little bit more social. It's a little bit more how I feel like is natural for us to connect with people than just, sending friend requests to influencers. But those are two primary ways that you can start finding your target audience and where they're already spending time on social media: Facebook groups, and then influencers that they're potentially following.
I want to challenge something there too, because sometimes people bring up like, oh, so Facebook friends aren't just for people like I'm, real life in person friends with. And, and maybe when it originally started, Facebook was kind of that way, but it's evolved to kind of almost being a cross between people I know and have like interpersonal relationships with, and LinkedIn, where I just send out connections to people I'm looking to connect with. So it's perfectly fine to send out friend requests to people on Facebook that maybe I haven't connected with before, I don't know yet, but yeah, I would like to connect with, almost like I'd like to connect with you, from there. So it's fine sending those out. And if someone doesn't accept, it's okay. That's, once again, there's 3 billion people on there. There's plenty of opportunities, and people come back later on and be like, yeah, I do want to accept it now, right? Especially as you have friends in common, which are some great ways of building the audience too. So for building your audience, a simple thing you can do each day is add or follow 5 additional people. So 5 additional people that fit in those categories that I mentioned, and those stack up. That's, if I was even just doing work days a week, that's 25 a week, that's 100 a month, and that's stacking and stacking. And now I'm ending up with more and more of an audience. And you'll get people requesting you too, being like, hey, I think I'm fit to connect with you, would like to connect with you. And those will also add in also.
I love it. And then I absolutely recommend that you set some sort of tracking for yourself, so that you're keeping track. I think a lot of times we feel like we're doing more activity than we actually are. So it could be something just as super easy, like you have a notebook, or in like your phone notes or something like that. You've just got the day and you're keeping track of how many friend requests you're sending a day. Really easy. And then again, it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes a day to get 5 friend requests sent.
Love it. So cool. We're building our audience, right? That's great. So we're building your audience. We're still doing our, posts that, we're doing and stuff there as well. That's great. Cool. That means more people are seeing our posts. The right audience is potentially seeing our posts, but it still feels a little passive to me. It feels like there's, okay, what's the next thing I can do to help start getting in these conversations and connections with people I can turn into appointments?
Yeah. So my opinion is that doing this activity is your highest leverage activity that you can be doing on social media, period. And that is comments. So even if you weren't actively growing your audience, which is super important, even if you weren't posting consistently, which is also super important, if you did only spent 5 minutes a day doing this, I guarantee you're going to start having people reach out to you and, or at least in conversation with you in the comments, and you're also going to increase your visibility. So you want to think about leaving at least 3, but ideally 5, 3 to 5 meaningful comments on post every single day. So think about, again, the Facebook groups where your ideal client, your ideal referral partners are already spending time online, and think about joining the conversation. And when you're scrolling inside of those groups, think about what you could say to contribute in a meaningful way. Also, you could take the same approach to influencers as well that have larger followings. If you open up their post, they usually have a pretty extensive comment section of people going back and forth in those comments. So think about how you can just join the conversation and start participating in the comments. And you want to aim to leave 5 comments a day inside of groups or, in influencer comment threads.
And there's an art to comments, guys. It's not cool. Nice. Keep up the good work.
Fire emoji.
I know, right? Fire emoji. I do like the fire emoji, but got to use some other stuff with it, right? So, when I'm driving comments, I don't want low value, low effort, and honestly, comments that aren't going to do too much, right? Just me commenting, it does create a little bit of what we call affinity with in Facebook, which is something we can talk and train about when we have on these as well too. But part of the commenting, the whole goal, social, guys, like why use social for your business, why do these sort of strategies, is I ultimately want to connect with people, get in conversations, and then appointments, whether it's for sales or a new referral partner or something from there. Like the magic is in the actual conversations. That's where conversions happen. So comments is the next step to get into conversations with people or to connect with people that maybe have never seen you before, haven't spoken with you, that maybe just seen you on social and stuff there. And so just like, did we date any before we got married?
A little bit.
A little bit? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, cool. So most people aren't generally like, hey, what's your name? Elle? Cool. You want to marry me? Like there's usually a little bit more to it, right? And so that's the same thing here. I want to engage, connect people. I don't want to just pop up and be like, you want some insurance, right? You want some insurance? And like, that's the quickest way to scare people off. And unfortunately, it's a bad reputation industry's got because people just low effort, low value. So same thing with comments. Like this is where I get to connect with people. So I want to engage in a way that ultimately hopefully gets a reply back. So I almost want to engage and then also ask a question so I get a reply back for them. Now it gives me a chance to reply back to them and get a little exchange going that I can also move into Messenger and stuff from there. But the comments need to serve a purpose. It needs to relate to what they're talking about. If it's a thing about their dog, don't just be like, cool dog, you want some insurance, right? I want to relate it to that. And I want to ultimately start seeing the goal of either making connection with the person or getting in a conversation from there. So leave real comments, right? Mm-hmm. And it's okay to, like, if I trained ChatGPT a little bit to have it help me with these comments, don't use the M dash, other stuff that gives away that came from ChatGPT, but to write a good comment and something that doesn't look like it was just taken out of ChatGPT and ultimately gets them to get a response, right? So cool. So we're commenting. Commenting's the next step. It's also showing Facebook that we're engaging, which leads to affinity and Facebook pushing stuff. There's other benefits to it as well. But cool, we're commenting. Cool. we have an audience going, so we have more people seeing the things, more people seeing what we're posting, talking about. We're seeing some of their stuff showing up on our feeds. We're engaging in that. We're commenting. We're in Facebook groups and commenting. All this, it's still like 5-10 minutes that we've spent on this. Like, this is quick, fast stuff, right? So what's the next thing that we can do from there as well?
Yeah. So from comments, and it doesn't have to be related to the people that you're commenting back and forth with, but it is really good if you can make that next step, direct messages. So direct messages is one of the highest, it is the highest activity that you could be doing on the platform as far as increasing your visibility. When you get into direct message with people on the platform's like, oh my gosh, David and Elle, they're back and forth in direct message. They must really like each other. So when David logs onto the platform, I'm going to show him Elle's comment or content. And when Elle logs onto the platform, I'm going to show her David's content. David alluded to it earlier. This is the concept of affinity. So even in your direct messages, if it's not like talking specifically about insurance, it's okay because it's still helping you be visible and top of mind. And honestly, I can't even tell you like how many sales we've made just from me like responding to people in direct message and saying, hey, thank you so much for supporting our content. I really appreciate you. Like, just like a gratitude appreciation. And then we get like, oh my gosh, Elle, thank you. Like, I love following you and David, and I love your content. Like, great. And then they're talking to me about, we're doing some rapport building, and then we're moving that forward into, hey, well, let's see if we can help you out. Let's jump on a call together sometime. Even just starting the conversation in the direct message opens the door for conversation, but so few people are doing it, or the people that are doing it in a very spammy way. They're like, going like to David said, straight to the will you marry me thing, or they're using it for recruitment and they're like, do you keep your opportunities open type stuff. And it's just like automatically puts people on the defensive instead of being open to having an actual conversation.
And I want to clarify something too. Like, yeah, these strategies work kind of no matter your intent. So much does mean they're just like, they're actions you can take, but even more so when you're actually authentic with them, right? Like I do, like when I'm asking them a question, I care about the answer. Like, I want to know the answer. I do want to connect with my prospects, my referral partners. Like, it's a relationship industry, right? And people can definitely pick up if this is like just a transactional, I copy and paste the same question to a bunch of people and like, don't really care about the answer, not really responding back to like, having listened to what they responded back and stuff. So be authentic in it. This is just a really good way to move to these next steps and get in these conversations, especially, starting to build these relationships that I'm getting conversions out of too. So bring that authenticity to it. It's not like we're posting these just to get, responses and stuff. Like we do want answers as part of strategy, sure, but we get to be authentic with it as well. Just like when you call a prospect off a lead, you're not just like, hey, give me all your details. I want to write your policy real quick. You need to build rapport. You need to ask them. And like, ultimately, yeah, I care about my clients. You should care about your clients, right? And same thing here, right? That we're using this to get in these conversations, build that up. So cool. I'm engaging with them. I'm messaging. And as I'm messaging with them and connecting with the messenger, I get to control conversations. I get to take this where I want. It's a one-on-one conversation. And usually the next logical place is like, hey, actually got a few more questions. It might be easier if we hop on a call, or, hey, this would actually be great for me to show you some of this stuff. Does 4:00 tomorrow work, and we can set up a Zoom. And I'm moving this into the next step, which is usually either a call, an appointment on like Zoom or something, or in person if it's something local, right? And I'm going to move it to the next step.
I love it. And again, this can be people that you're already in comments with off of your post, or it could even be people that have maybe like are giving you reactions on posts. I've had a lot of success, even if they're not commenting, just sending them the like, hey, thanks so much for, supporting my content. That really means a lot to me. Again, just think about almost like your direct messages as a way to like express gratitude and to just open the door for conversation. And again, just to keep it simple, we're going to recommend that you shoot to do 5 direct messages a day. So just to recap here, we talked about 5 friend requests, 5 comments, and 5 direct messages. And really, you can break these tasks down. Each one should take about 5 minutes each, down to 15 minutes a day. A 15-minute, think about it like your daily exercise routine, your daily movement routine. It doesn't have to take long. It doesn't have to be complicated, but the consistency of doing these small actions 15 minutes a day will absolutely transform your social media presence. If you don't believe me, set 30-day challenge for yourself, and do it and watch your social media grow. Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong, right? Let's put it on the sign, right? And yeah, I mean, like start putting this in place. Like this and similar strategies social of putting these things in place is how people end up with their entire pipelines, their entire business coming through social without leads, without ads, and where it feels so great that I just got people, begging to work with me or wanting to have this chat, trusting me already, showing up to their appointments, being amazing clients, right? And this is what comes from this. So is it worth the 15 minutes a day and doing that consistently? I would say take a little time out of maybe listening to the dial tone a few times on your calls and spend your 15 minutes here. And I promise it'll be infinitely rewarding from doing that. So if you really want to say, okay, I want to give social a fair shot, put these things in place, and I promise you'll see those results from it, or prove us wrong, right? So I love it. So with that, remember, build your audience, do your comments and engagement, do your messages.
Yep. And you're going to see a massive shift in your social media strategy when you do this. And then also, it really alleviates the need to create so much content when you're showing up and engaging with the platform like this regularly. The platform, honestly, it rewards people that are commenting, that are engaging on the platform. So you don't have to do as much content to get just as much visibility when you execute a 15-minute strategy like this.
I love it. And last tip for you guys, as we got a great question, is how do I avoid ending up doom scrolling for 30 minutes or more on this? And we've all been there, right? Like it's easy to get sucked in social. It's literally designed that way for monetary reasons and all the reason why the algorithm's built that way. So it's easy to get sucked in, right? Whether it's puppies, politics, the world, finale and watching people, from weightlifting, whatever it is. Like we all have different things on our feeds, right? And usually things customized to what we like. So it keeps us there, right? Now with this, we got to go in with an intention or it's easy to get distracted. So we know we're doing our five friend requests, our 5 comments, our 5 messages. We have our goals and we're coming in and we're accomplishing it and moving on. You want to come back later for fun to social in your free time? Cool, fantastic. But we're using this for a purpose. So what can I do? We can use a, what's the timer called? Why am I forgetting this timer?
The Pomodoro?
Pomodoro, yes. You can use a Pomodoro timer or just on your watch or your phone setting a 15-minute timer, right? And it's like, I got 15 minutes to get this done. If I don't get all of it done in 15 minutes, cool, my 15 minutes up, I got to move on. So I force myself to get it done in 15 minutes and then move on. And so I recommend, especially if you have trouble getting stuck in scroll or spending more time, set a timer for yourself. Whatever you get done, and you move on, and you're going to train yourself to get things done in that specific period of time. So don't get sucked in. Social media is something you are using and controlling for your business, not something that's using you.
And one more piece of advice on that, and this is something that we really kind of deep dive in with our clients on, but do not just get on the platform and start scrolling. Mm-mm. Like that's how you start down that path. Get on the platform and then go into the group that you know that you're going to be doing the comments into. Like just go to the group. Don't scroll. Make a list of people that you want to get on their radar or build a connection with and just go straight to their profile and do your comments there. that's when you know that you're starting in that doom scroll. Is like you're on the platform and then all of a sudden you just, start the scroll, and it's what the platform's designed to do. So before you even log into it, know where you're going. Don't just start scrolling your feed.
Perfect. All right. So as we wrap up today, make sure you go to jumpstartgonow.com/podcast. We'll have all the show notes, all the goodies, all the resource guides, everything else put together for you guys. And also reach out to us, guys. Engage in the Facebook group, which if you're not in, is Marketing for Insurance Agents Facebook group, about almost 36,000 insurance agents in there. And ask questions, dive in. That's what we made it for. Our team is very friendly, happy to answer those. Plus, there's a bunch of other awesome agents in that Facebook group as well. And we always love hearing from you guys. If you guys have ideas, questions, stuff you'd love for us to cover in the podcast stuff, let us know as well. But we thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining us in this episode of the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.